Hello everybody. I decided today I'm going to make some gumbo, but it's going to not be like any gumbo you've ever seen probably, but it's going to be my gumbo, my way. And I'm going to show you even gumbo is very versatile with the ingredients you put in it, the way you prepare it, everything about it. So, without further ado, let's get started. First of all, I need to open my olive oil. I just bought this at Walmart, of course. It's not great value, but it is Walmart brand. I mean, most of the time I do get great value, but this is the other brand. I mean, it's sold by Walmart in Walmart store. First of all, I'm going to put some oil in my pan, about, I don't know, maybe a third of a cup, maybe not quite a third of a cup. Because I've got a half a cup of flour, or about that I'm going to brown in here. To start making our roux. I may put just a little bit more than that in there. I know most people use a whole cup of oil to a whole cup of flour, but I'm not making that much roux. I'm making a small pot full, and you know, it don't even have to be a pot full. Because I'll be eating this for a couple of days, plus I probably will even put a container of it in the freezer to eat next week or something. First of all, we're going to heat the oil up. Now, I've got a separate pan here because I'm also going to brown some onion. I'm going to brown sausage. I'm going to brown a little bit of chicken. I've got shrimp and fish, but we're not going to add those till very last. That's right, fish. You heard me right. I'm going to put fish in there. Yeah, it's starting to sizzle, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in. I may have to add just a little bit of oil, I don't know. I think I got probably enough. You just want enough oil to brown your flour to make your roux. Get you over here so you can see what I'm doing. See, I had enough that it coated that flour pretty good. We don't want it on too high heat. But we want it to like fry the bread, I mean the flour, so to speak. Just like making gravy. Only we're making a roux, and that's the base of our gumbo. If you're going to make a great big pot, I mean a pot bigger than this, you'll need a whole cup of flour and practically a whole cup of oil. Just depends on how big the pot you go with. You triple this size, you're going to need more than a cup of flour and a cup of oil. Just depends. You got to adjust your amount according to how much you're fixing. We don't want it to brown, but we want it to get a golden. I mean, we don't want it to burn, but we want it to get like a golden brown. That kind of puts the color in our roux. Plus, the roux thickens the gumbo as it cooks. And you want to stir it quite often. I mean, I'm used to doing this because my mom always made her own gravy from scratch, and this is how she started it. She put a little bit of flour and oil in a pan and browned it, and then added her bouillon or whatever she was going to add as far as the liquid. Don't turn it so high that it will burn. You just want it hot enough that it cooks that flour and it starts to brown a little bit. We're basically frying flour, y'all. See, it is starting to darken a little bit. It gradually gets darker and darker. I mean, you can stop it anytime you want, but I prefer a little bit darker of a roux than what it is right now. It only take another minute to darken it up a little bit more. When it reaches the color that you want, then you can start adding your other stuff. Now, I'm going to take this pot aside so it's not on the direct heat. And I've got about not quite a quart of chicken bouillon. And I'm very carefully going to pour this in here. Because I've reached the darkness that I want. I'm going to add just a little bit more water to rinse my jar out. Now you can put tomato paste, tomato sauce, whichever you want. I just happen to have this jar of crushed fresh tomatoes from the garden, and I'm going to put those right in there. Now, I think what I'm going to do is put this on the back burner and proceed to fix my let that come up to boiling. Now I've got to fix my veggies, my onions. Well, I say veggies, it's my onions. I've got a whole onion. It's just a small onion. And I've got a handful of onions from the garden. These are the Egyptian walking onions that I pulled out. I left the roots on them so you could see they are my onions. And what I'm going to do is cut part of the tops off, because I'm not going to use all the tops. I'll leave about that much of the top on my onion, if they look good. And then I proceed to pull down all of this outside coverage that is on here. I don't know what they call it. It's just, I say peelings on the onion. Now, if you wanted to, you could just put your walking onions on there, because you've got plenty of onion right there. You wouldn't even have to cut this one. It's just up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and cut these onions. Well, what I'm doing first is trimming them and peeling that outer onion skin off and cutting them to a length that I want. Because I'm going to use some of the green top, but not all of it. The rest will go in my compost. Now I've got that pot on medium to low, because we're heating it up right now. Getting it back to a boiling point to put all of our other stuff in there. These are basically like spring onions. They're a little bit, some of them are a little bit bigger because, you know, the longer you leave Egyptian walking onions in the garden, the bigger the bulb part gets. They don't really bulb up. They just get bigger at that end. Almost like a leek would. Because they don't really bulb up like an onion, but, you know, that's kind of a big onion right there. A big green onion. But that is an Egyptian walking onion. I'm going to put some oil in my pan. And we don't want to forget our roux over here with our chicken stock and tomatoes. Just want to keep that stirred a little. That's going to make a perfect color. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get this heated up, this pan. I'm going to chop up my onions. I'm putting some green onions in there as well as the bulb part. I want all of this onion in there to brown. Some people save a little bit of the green onion to garnish the top. I don't really have to do that. Let's see if I can get this here. And I just dropped an onion. An onion. I have to wash it off. There we go. I love this steel knife. I've had it for so many years. It's ridiculous, but it's basically the best cutting knife I got. I mean, the other ones cut good when they're sharpened, but this one, it just hangs right in there. And you have to treat it like a steel skillet. You have to rub it down with a little bit of oil to keep it from rusting. That might be all the onion I put in there. Like I said, you can put all of this in there, or you can put the yellow onions. Because see, I've got plenty of white onion right here, the bulb part of it. It's about to take my breath. It is a strong onion. So you can judge after you get your onions cut up in there how much more you want to put in there. Totally up to you. I might put maybe part of this one, not all of it. Maybe half of it. I guess we can put this one back up here on the front one. I think you can still see my frying pan. I'm going to brown those onions just a tiny bit before I add my garlic. Now you can use fresh garlic, minced garlic. In this case, I'm just going to use a little bit of minced garlic. But I think this is plenty of onion. Half of a small white onion or yellow onion and 3 or 4 of my Egyptian walking onions. That's plenty of onion in there. Just a little bit more oil. Now I'm also going to cut up some celery. I got some celery right here. And I'm only going to put a couple of stalks in there because, well, some of this don't look too good, but I can clean it up. Cut the end of it off. And wash it a little. It's so handy to have your stuff right here at the sink. Don't want to forget my onions. I'm going to add in a little bit. Well, I think I'll add my garlic to my pot. Now you can put 3 or 4 cloves in there, or just put you a teaspoon of garlic in there. About a teaspoon. I want to taste that. That is going to be good, but I need to turn it down. Yeah, you can go by some of what I'm putting in mine to judge how much to put in yours, depending on how much you're making. Now I'm just going to go ahead and dump all of those onions right down in my pot. And I need to add just a little bit more water. My roux is getting a little bit too thick. And it'll burn in the bottom of your pot if you're not careful. Because it's going to simmer for a while. And it'll thicken back up. Isn't that a pretty color, y'all? Now, go ahead and finish my celery. I mean, the recipe I've always went by to make gumbo, this is about 1/4 of what the recipe calls for. But like I said, I'm not making as much as they are. I don't have to put all that much celery, because 4 times that amount would be the whole stalk of celery, and I'm not making that much. But you can put as much celery in there as you want. In fact, I may add just a little bit, because I do like celery. And this is going to be going to bad anyway. I've got more. Might just put it all in there, because it's still only about 1/2 on. Because if you cook this very long, the celery is going to cook to nothing anyway. Just depends on how long you want to cook your gumbo. Some people like to simmer it for hours. I mean, I don't mind simmering mine for hours, but not all day. And some of them do. It's an all-day process. Turn it back up just a tiny bit. All right, now what I'm going to do is brown my sausage and my chicken. Now, most people use andouille sausage. I don't always buy andouille. I love this Home Smokehouse Pecan Smoked Pork and Venison. It's not as fat as a lot of it is, but I love this sausage. And I've only been able to find it at Walmart. And I'm not putting all of this in there. I'm going to put about half of it. And I just slice it in little medallions. And what I'm going to do is put it in this hot pan and I'm going to brown it. I might put just a tiny bit more in there. I didn't quite get half of it. Because I love this sausage. I really do. So that's a half a pound of sausage right there. And I've got one chicken breast. That I thawed out. And I'm going to go ahead and slice it up. Well, cut it up, not slice it. What I am, I'm cutting it and slicing it at the same time. I know some people will cook roast-a-tear chicken or buy roast-a-tear chicken and use the chicken off of that. I don't need a whole chicken. I mean, this one great big old chicken breast is enough to make my pot full of gumbo. I don't need, you know, the whole thing. Because I'm going to put so much more in here till, you know, it's going to be a big pot. It's a good thing I love gumbo. I can eat it for a week or more. I just love it. Now we basically brown it because it brings out more of the flavor in the sausage. And you get that great color too, to go with the roux that we've already got going. Something else I do is I put some of my cowboy candy in there, about a spoonful. Right there, because that's jalapeno peppers, y'all. That's adding a little bit of heat. Because we add a little bit of cayenne pepper anyway. I've got oregano. In my case, it's Mexican oregano. Just put a pinch in there. I'm going to put parsley flakes. Just shake a few in there. I've got paprika. In my case, I've got smoked paprika. You can use plain, whatever you got. I've got Texas seafood seasoning because I'm going to put seafood in there too. I've got thyme, dried thyme. I'm going to shake a little bit of that in there. Garlic powder. Just plain old garlic powder. Great value. Chili powder. And onion powder. I know I've got onion in there, but I'm putting onion powder as well. Just shake you some in there. Don't have to measure it. I got to go vacuum my car out today. So I got to get my gumbo on cooking. And maybe I'll have enough time while it's cooking to go out there and vacuum my car out. I may have to wait till tomorrow. I haven't washed it yet, but it does need to be vacuumed out before I wash it. And just turn each little medallion over so it'll brown on both sides. Ooh, this is looking good, y'all. Stir up some of those herbs all up in there. Whew, that's smelling good. Just taste it for seasoning. That is so good. And I only had one little okra out in my garden, y'all. But I'm going to cut him up and I'm putting him in my gumbo. So I can at least say that I've got okra in my gumbo. Now, I think that's good. Put my sausage right in there. But if you're a married couple, this is probably about the right size pot to make gumbo in for just 2 of you. Because if you love gumbo, you know you're going to want to have leftovers. And this is the way to do it. Now I'm going to put my chicken right in there. Wash off this board a little bit. Because I'm going to be needing that. Got a bunch of stuff in there to take out. I'm going to put pepper and salt on my chicken pieces. And while that's doing that, I'm coming over here and I've got a couple of pieces of fish fillets. And what I'm going to do is just cut them up a little bit. You can use any kind of fish you want. If you got fish on hand, go for it. I'm just going to put some pretty good hunks of fish in there. But we're not putting those in yet. We'll add our fish when we add our shrimp. So our fish is not ready to go yet. Get that out of the way. Now I got my shrimp right here, and it's still partially frozen, but it should be thawed out. Yeah, it's thawed out enough. All I needed to do was separate it. And I'm just pulling the vein, you know, the hull off of my shrimp. I know some Cajuns just put whole and all in their gumbo. They worry about getting the hulls off of the shrimp after when they go to eat it. I can't handle that. It might keep more of the shrimp flavor. I don't know. I don't know why they do that. This is going to be a pretty big pot of gumbo, y'all. And I will fix me some rice to go with it. But I got to get my gumbo first. Isn't that looking good? See, I had to add a little bit of more water or something liquid to thin it out just a tiny bit because it was getting too thick too quick. And if you do that, let it get too thick too quick, it'll stick to the bottom of your pot. I'm just throwing all of these shrimp hulls right down here with my onion and celery cuttings, because that's all going in the compost. Now, if you don't have fish, don't put fish in yours. If you got it on hand, if you and your husband go fishing, or if you go fishing, you got fish on hand and you got plenty of it, throw you a couple of pieces of fish in your gumbo. It's all seafood, y'all. But do it like you do your shrimp. Don't put your fish in there till the last. You know, I'm trying to speed things up by while I'm cooking my chicken and got my pot to boiling and simmering. I'm deveining my shrimp. That way I don't have to stop the camera, because I still got to tend to all this. I like to simplify things, y'all. And yeah, when you fry your chicken like this, it brings out more flavor in your chicken as well. And you got it partially almost cooked when you put it in your gumbo. And we know that gumbo is all about the flavor, y'all. You got to have the flavor. These are some pretty good, nice sized shrimp here. that's good enough. We're going to dump it right in our pot with the rest of our stuff. Put that in there and cool it off. Boy, that's looking good. Now, I prefer to cook my gumbo until the celery's done. And then I'll put in my shrimp and my fish. Now, if you put fish in yours, put something in there that doesn't just flake apart. This is rockfish, so it holds together pretty good. There's quite a few fish that you can use. I mean, you can use any of it. Just be careful that you don't overcook it because it'll just fall apart. Or maybe you don't care if it falls apart. But it's a good addition to your gumbo. If you got crawdads, put them in there. Clams, put them in there. Any type of seafood is good in there. Because we're not pre-cooking the shrimp, we're not pre-cooking the fish. We're just going to put it right in the pot. Simmer it until the fish and the shrimp are done, which, you know, it doesn't take that long. And we'll have our gumbo. And I don't even have my pot of rice on yet. See if I can get this in this bowl. All these scrap pieces are going to go right in the compost. That's going to make some good compost. Yep, that's right. I'm putting shrimp hulls, everything right in the compost. The cats might get in it when they smell the shrimp. I don't know. Or they may stay away from it. Who knows? You never know about these cats. There, just leave it right there for the time being. I don't want it boiling quite that fast. That'd be looking good. Let me do another taste test. Y'all, that is so good. Where is my dishcloth, my dish rag? Must be down in here. I've got all this Cajun juice in my dishpan. There. Now we're going to stir this up, cover it up, and let it cook for about 20-25 minutes. That celery should be getting done about then. Oh man, that tastes good and it smells so good. And I think I need a bigger spoon rest. These cooking utensils just hang over the edge of it. Other than that, it's great. Now I'm going to put the lid on it, let it cook for a little bit, just to get those celery pieces cooked. And I got my fish and my shrimp standing by. Whew. I'm going to put my sausage in the refrigerator. Put my onion up. I don't think that container's big enough for the onion. I know, I'll just wrap it up. Put it in the vegetable bin. Put my cowboy candy up because I think that spoonful's enough in there. Because I don't want it hot. I just got a little bit of seasoning in it. Now we can come over here and get me a pot. Well, maybe I better not put that over there. It'll get too hot for that. I'm going to start a pot full of rice. And since I'm going to store part of that gumbo, I'm only going to cook a cup of rice. That'll probably be enough rice for me for a couple of days to go with my gumbo. Yeah, just about everything I buy grocery-wise comes from Walmart. I'm going to put in 2 cups of water. Go ahead and get that going. Put a little bit of salt. A little bit of butter. Y'all, I'm not being nice. I'm just cooking the way I normally do. Put in a dab of butter. I like to put butter in my rice when I'm cooking it. I'm going to have me some gumbo for supper. Might better stir my gumbo a little bit. See, it's thick like gravy, but it's not too thick. And like I said, it will thicken up a little more as it cooks. But I want that celery to get done. We're going to bring this to a boil. We can get it to come to a boil. But I figured, you know, this would be a great weekend to fix some gumbo. Cook one time for several days. Because I got to vacuum my car out. I got to clean house. There's a lot of other stuff I got to do other than cooking. So this is going to give me several meals. Tonight, tomorrow, the next day, the next day. And like I said, I might even put a container or two in the freezer to save for a week down the road. Whenever I don't want to cook, maybe I'm in between videos or something and I'm hungry and I don't want to cook anything, I'll just take that out, heat it up, and I've got gumbo. I might have to just fix me some quick rice. You know, that's what the rice in those little packages come in handy for, that you just throw in the microwave and steam them, and you got rice. That's great for when you want to take out a carton of gumbo and you just want a little bit of rice. You don't want a whole pot full. You just want a little bit for maybe a couple of bowls of gumbo. Just take out a package of the rice, jasmine rice or any of it, pop it in the microwave, and you got rice right away that you can eat with your gumbo. It's almost to the boiling point, not quite. Starting right now. Just mix up that butter in there pretty good. Another good thing to put in your rice when you cook it is just a little bit of bouillon. It gives your rice a great flavor. But I love butter. I always put butter in mine. Okay, it's starting to boil. Put my lid on it. Wait till it comes to boiling really good. Now I'm going to turn it down. I turn it down almost as low as it will go. Now all we need to do now is let the rice cook, let our gumbo cook for a little bit, and when I bring you back, we're going to put our shrimp and our fish in there. Our rice should be done by then. And it only takes a few minutes for the shrimp and the fish to cook once we put it in there. So we'll see you in a few. Well, y'all, I'm back. My rice is done. I just turned it off. And now we're getting ready to work on our gumbo some more. We got our shrimp. And we got our fish. That is going to be some good eating, y'all. So I don't know how much shrimp and fish that was. I didn't measure it. I didn't even look on the package to see how many pounds it was, or if it was a pound. It was probably like a half a pound of shrimp, half a pound of fish, something like that. But it was one of those little bowls full, which would have been equal to a good cup full, I guess, or a little more. And I dropped my dishcloth in the floor. I'm going to turn this up a tiny bit so I can cook it. Get that shrimp cooked. Get that fish cooked. I mean, you know, it only takes a few minutes for fish or shrimp to cook in a boiling pot. But they were cold. I tried to leave them out and get them in room temperature before I put them in there. But they were still kind of cold, so. Bring that to a little bit of a boil. Getting a bowl out here for some gumbo, for some gumbo and rice. Be nice if my counter just went all the way down that way instead of, but it's the door, so it stops right here at the cutting board. But you get that shrimp flavor in there. We're going to have got a little bit of okra flavor in there. We got the fish flavor, the shrimp flavor, the chicken, the sausage, the onions, as the Cajuns say, the onions. It's going to be good. But I'm definitely going to have to freeze some of that. No way around it. I thought I had some little soup bowls, but I don't. I mean, I've got the little round bowls that are soup bowls, but not a serving bowl like this. That is looking good, y'all. Looking good. And like I said, the quantity of what you put in yours is totally up to you. Whatever you got on hand, basically. That's what I did. I had that fish on hand. I had that little package of shrimp. And I decided to put it in this gumbo. Let that cook just a tiny bit. I want to make sure I get my fish done with my shrimp. Don't want to be eating raw fish. Try not to stir it too much because I don't want to break all the fish up. I don't know if that shrimp is cooked yet or not. Don't think it's been in there 3 minutes. We'll try this shrimp and see how it is. When I can cool it down. Right there at it. They're turning a pretty pink. My allergies, Some water to wet my throat. I like to cook my shrimp an extra minute or two just to make sure they're done. Because it took them a minute or two to heat up. Since they were cold. Testing a piece of the fish. That's chicken. Now remember, this is a big pot. If you don't want that much, remember how much I put in there of each thing and cut it back. You don't have to make this much. You can make a smaller pot full of it. I don't mind making this size pot because it gives me plenty of leftovers. For days I don't have to cook. I need to try that fish. I want to make sure my fish is done. Mm. It is done, y'all. So I'm going to get my bowl over here and get me a little bit of rice. Ooh, that's hot. I'm going to come over here and get my soup dipper. And I'm going to dip me out some of this. Oh, don't that look good? Give me another piece or two of sausage, but don't that look good, y'all? Give me another piece of shrimp. And there goes a peeling off of my tomato. Don't that look good? Don't that look good, y'all? Gumbo my way, y'all. Just look at that. I can't wait to dig in, but I know it's hot. It's hot, y'all. It's hot. Dear Lord, bless this food I'm about to eat. Amen. I don't know where to start. All this is good. Cut me a shrimp in half. Y'all take a bite of gumbo with a big old piece of shrimp, some rice, and some of that gravy, good thick gravy in there. Whoop. Mmm. Y'all. This is fit for a king. About getting a piece of that sausage with some rice and gravy. That's a winning dish right there. So don't forget, make you a pot this size. If not, cut your ingredients in half. Make half that much. But I guarantee you, if you like gumbo, you like seafood, you like rice, you like sausage, you like shrimp, you're going to want to make a pot this size. Even if it's one person or for two people, because you're going to want leftovers and you're going to want to eat it for a couple of days. And that gives you enough to eat it for a couple of days and maybe put you a small container in the freezer to keep for another week or two down the road. So with that, I'm going to sit over here and eat my gumbo. Y'all have a blessed day. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. Love y'all. Bye now.